Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are going to break down exactly how you can take your own rich, real-life experiences and transform them into published literature that truly honors your local culture. I'm so excited to get into this with you because we so often think of literature as something totally separate from our daily lives. But the truth is, your everyday reality, it's a total goldmine for storytelling. So, let's just jump right in with a question for you. Think about your own family, your barangay, or your community. What are the unique practices that define your everyday life? Is it the way your neighbors gather at the local market, a specific family meal, or maybe how you all prep for a community cleanup? Keep that specific image in your head, because honestly, that is exactly where your literary journey kicks off. We've got 5 clear steps ahead of us today. We'll start by defining cultural literature, then finding inspiration from everyday life, hitting the 5-step writing process, refining with respectful feedback, and finally, publishing your original work.
All right, part 1, defining cultural literature.
You know, when we hear the word culture, it's so easy to picture grand festivals, historical monuments, or traditional costumes, right? But the reality is that culture is just the way of life of a group of people. It's your daily work, your language, the food on your table, your family practices, and how your community comes together. It is really just the everyday rhythm of life. So when a literary text truly reflects culture, it zeroes in on those meaningful, everyday details. We're talking about local livelihoods like farming, fishing, or vending at the market. It's the familiar places like the muddy barangay roads after a rainstorm, or catching up on the news at the local sari-sari store. And absolutely crucial here, it reflects core values. Things like perseverance, faith, and bayanihan, that incredible community spirit you see when everyone chips in to help after a typhoon. Moving right along to section 2, inspiration from everyday life. Let's look at a beautiful model text called Under the Coconut Trees. Listen to this line. Under the coconut trees, my father dries copra while my younger siblings sweep the yard. It's brilliant, isn't it? Just a simple, honest observation. There are no overly complicated, fancy words here. By just describing a father drying copra and kids sweeping, the writer instantly grounds the story in a totally authentic place. It paints a picture that is immediately recognizable and deeply cultural. And the core message hits home in this next quote from the same text. The author says, "I learned that culture is not only found in costumes or celebrations, it is also found in our daily work and our bayanihan." Your lived experiences, whether it's dealing with a sudden rainstorm, sharing candles when the power goes out, or showing respect to your elders, are incredibly valid sources for literature. You absolutely do not need to invent some fantastical sci-fi world when the one you're living in right now is already packed with such rich stories. Now, I get it. You might feel a bit shy about your vocabulary, or maybe you're worried your grammar isn't 100% perfect. But here's the thing. Your real-life experiences are your greatest strength. When you write about what you know best, whether that's balancing family chores or working at the market, you have a massive advantage. True authenticity is always going to shine brighter than perfect grammar. Okay, section 3, the 5-step writing process. So how do we actually get these experiences onto paper? Well, every good writer uses a structured process. It is 5 straightforward steps. Step 1, plan. Step 2, draft. Step 3, revise. Step 4, edit. And step 5, publish. Seriously, trying to skip straight to the final polished product is exactly where most writers get completely stuck. Before you even think about writing that very first sentence of your draft, you've got to make a plan. You need to decide on your literary form, like, are we doing a poem, prose, a script? Figure out your main topic, the specific cultural details you want to include, the values you're showing, your core message, and of course, your audience. Think of this plan as your roadmap so you don't get lost halfway through drafting. That brings us to section 4, refining with respectful feedback. Once you've got a draft, exchanging it with a partner is honestly one of the fastest ways to level up your writing. A super effective way to do this is the 2 stars and 1 wish method. The stars are where you highlight things they did well, like pinpointing a great cultural detail they used or core value that really came through. Then, the wish is just 1 constructive suggestion to improve the text. It keeps the feedback totally positive, focused, and actually helpful without overwhelming anyone. And this is absolutely vital, guys. When you're writing or giving feedback, you have to treat culture ethically. Respectful writing shows genuine understanding, empathy, and appreciation for traditions.
What you definitely want to avoid is making fun of people, their work, their financial struggles, or their community practices. The whole point of cultural literature is to uplift and reflect truth with dignity, not to mock.
And finally, we've made it to section 5, publishing your original work. Now, I know publishing can sound like this massive, intimidating word that involves printing presses and bookstores, but really, publishing simply means finalizing your work and sharing it with an audience. That could literally be a clean, handwritten copy pinned up on a classroom display board, or maybe a spoken word reading for your friends. It could even be a digital poster. The format itself doesn't matter nearly as much as the simple act of putting your story out there. The big takeaway here is that publishing isn't just some academic exercise to get a passing grade. It's this incredible opportunity to creatively express your culture, your family's values, your experiences, and your hopes. It is about adding your unique voice and your community's voice to the wider literary world. Because honestly, if you don't write your community's story, who will? So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something to chew on. When you step outside tomorrow morning, really look around your neighborhood. Watch the tricycles go by, listen to people chatting, notice the daily work happening all around you. What story from your own family or barangay is just waiting to be written and shared? Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I absolutely cannot wait to see the stories you bring to life.